You're watching ESPN's college football finale presented by Jimmy John's. A beautiful and chilly evening here tonight in Logan, Utah at Maverick Stadium as the Utah State Aggies play host to the Wyoming Cowboys. 1-7 for Wyoming and 4-3 for Utah State. It's a three-way deadlock atop in the Mountain West Conference. 3-1 for Boise State, for Air Force, and for Utah State in the Mountain Division. Meanwhile, Wyoming at 1-7, looking to improve to 2-3 in conference play. Mike Cousins with former Auburn standout Cole Kublik. And Cole, it is an uphill battle for Wyoming on many fronts, but quarterback being one of them especially.
Nick Smith will make his first career start tonight, Mike, and if that's not bad enough 8 games into the season, this young man played triple option quarterback in high school. He was a scout team tight end a season ago, and he's thrown 21 career passes. He has more rushing yards as a collegiate quarterback than he does passing yardage. They're going to have to manage that offense around Nick Smith tonight.
He's got some help in the backfield. Brian Hill, an exceptional running back.
This young man can bounce it outside, but not afraid to go between the tackles. I like Brian Hill's style. Gloves contact, not afraid to go to the stiff arm. And Brian Hill was the fastest to 1,000 yards in Wyoming history, doing it in his 8th game last week.
Tyler Fackrell on the other side helps lead one of the best defenses in the conference.
One thing great about a 3-man front, Mike, it allows your edge players to be out on their own in space and find the football and make plays. Tyler Fackrell does just that. 10 tackles last week. He's gone over 10 tackles 8 times in his career. He leads the nation with 4 fumble recoveries. He attacks the football, and he attacks players with the football. He'll be very active tonight.
Third year for Matt Wells, the 1996 graduate of Utah State, former quarterback here in Logan, 23-12 at Utah State. And Craig Bohl, the former very successful head coach at North Dakota State. 3 straight FCS championships for him before he took over at Wyoming last year, and trying to bring them win number 2 tonight. Utah State has won the toss, and the Aggies want to go on offense first. They're set to receive. Ethan Wood kicks it away for Wyoming, and here we go in Logan.
That's a live ball, Mike.
Jalen Davis gets on top of it, so Utah State going to work. Chucky Keaton was their quarterback to start the year, injured, as has been the story for him over the last several years, and it's the sophomore Kent Myers who leads the show. Myers 8-2 as a starter. Last week in their loss against San Diego State. Season low 95 passing yards for the Aggies. He's out to throw on first down, and he's got a completion. First down, it's out across midfield, and boy, does that ball move. Nice way to open the game for Utah State.
Chris Copier on the reception. You can see the box stacked with 9 defenders, Mike, and a nice little play action, roll out, move the pocket, make life easy on your quarterback. Solid pitch and catch, and then Copier does the rest on his own.
35 yards in the first play of the game for the Aggies. Up against a 4-man front here for Wyoming, 2 wide receivers. Myers back to throw again. And we welcome you to Logan, Utah. Wyoming and Utah State just 2 plays in here as the Cowboys come to town to take on the Aggies. Mike Cousins with former Auburn standout Cole Kublik. And it's the Aggies at 4-3, 3-1 in the Mountain West, already in the red zone. First run of the day, and it's Mays going inside the 10. A flag comes in at the end of the play as he goes down at about the 7-yard line.
We'll see what that flag is, Mike, but just power play. Austin Albrecht, left tackle, pulls around, leading the way up inside, gets a kick-out block.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, quite a start here for Utah State, Cole. Exactly what they wanted After a very disappointing showing against San Diego State last week, their lowest offensive output of the year with just 239 total yards, 3 plays, and they've got the ball at the 3-yard line.
Cowboys wanted to stack the box early. They go play action, roll out, hit a nice bootleg off that, get them out of their initial defense. Now you get help with the penalty down near the goal line.
Mays, the running back, he takes it to the right side, nowhere to go. Pushed back behind the 10-yard line. A nice push from DJ May and a host of other Wyoming defenders.
DJ May with the run through. So difficult to go short side in the red zone, especially down inside the 10, inside the 5. Take another look. You see, just trying to go to that short side of the field, really outnumbered. The Wyoming defense, just not enough blockers to handle the linebacker run through.
Loss of 5 on the play, and it's 2nd down and goal. Ball on the 8-yard line. Ian Tongiai in motion. They use him as a blocker, also a defensive end. Now Myers throwing end zone, and it's a touchdown for Utah State.
Wyatt Houston's 2nd touchdown reception on the season. How effective was play action for Coach Wells on this initial drive for the Aggies? We'll take another look. Out of the pistol formation, really nice sell from Kent Myers. Knows exactly where he needs to deliver that football just out of the fake.
The extra point from Brock Warren is good. It's a 7-0 lead on a beautiful first drive from Utah State. All it took was 5 plays to move the ball 75 yards. And the Aggies, playing at home, are up early. First time Utah State has scored on an opening possession this year. Matt Wells had his team ready to go.
Hey, we've talked about it all week. You're prepared right now, okay? Take confidence in your preparation, okay? Take confidence in your teammate. Take confidence in your coaching, all right? All you got right out of the gate. Everybody good? Okay? You got juice, you got energy, there's no question. Okay, all 3 phases. Highest level you got today.
Mike Cousins and Cole Kubelik, certainly no shortage of energy there in that locker room, Cole.
Absolutely not. Rivalry game. You want to get those troops fired up before you take the field.
Jake Thompson set to kick for Utah State. Long kick, and DJ May lets it go. So they'll bring the ball out to the 25 for a 1st and 10 for Wyoming. And Nick Smith, the redshirt freshman from Merritt Island, Florida, Cole.
Triple option quarterback in high school, Mike. Scout team tight end as a redshirt freshman a season ago. He's got great size, 6'4", 233. Durability should be there. As a former triple option guy, you know the mobility is going to be there as well. Just anxious to see, with only 21 career attempts as a collegiate quarterback, how they manage his snaps tonight.
First career start. And they run him.
I like that play call, Mike, because had success last week with the jet sweep. So go ahead and ride it. It was a read. So Nick Smith had the option to hand that or keep it, and he shows you physical durability right there between the tackles. He'll fake that jet sweep, keep it, and get north and south.
And if you wonder, how did they get to Smith? Well, a couple of injuries brought him up on the depth chart. Under center with Hill in the backfield. Hill, 6th leading rusher in FBS, goes right side, lowers his head and gets a 1st down. Out across the 40-yard line to the 41. Nice pickup there of 17.
This will become repetitive tonight, but Brian Hill does not run like he's 6'1", 211. Runs more like he's maybe 221, 231. He's a physical back. And you see there, Chase Roulier, 73 left guard, pulls around, opens up the power play for the Cowboy 1st down.
Spread 4 wide against 3 down linemen. Smith on the move, tucks it and runs, and gets maybe a yard on that 1st down. Taken down by Nick Vigil, his team leading 77th tackle of the year.
I like what Brent Vegan, offensive coordinator for Wyoming, doing so far, spreading defenses out, going 4 wide, going 2 tight ends, little 12 personnel, trying to keep the defense on their heels a little bit, not let them come attack their young quarterback.
Drew Van Manen is the fullback in front of Hill. Hill through the middle, pushes the pile, maybe 2. Well, Brian Hill, the sophomore running back from Belleville, Illinois, about 30 minutes outside of St. Louis. He wasn't their starter to begin the year either. It was Sean Wick, who's been battling concussion issues, but here comes Hill onto the scene, a guy out of the Mountain West Conference who's been one of the best rushers in the country, and he was second on the depth chart to start the year.
See if Wyoming can find some man coverage, Mike. Maybe we'll play action, take a shot here on 3rd and long. Safety's creeping up.
Smith, 7 of 21 through the air this year. This throw is right at the first down marker, and the catch is made. Jake Malhart, a 6'6" target out of California, makes the grab. So Smith, their 3rd string quarterback, essentially, behind Kaufman and Aaron Young as well on there.
Smith able to find man coverage, Mike. Got good protection. Blitz came. A little deep in route. Nice throw and catch. Shows good confidence as a first-time starter.
First down inside Aggie territory. Play action. Taking off running. And he gets a first down. Dragged out of bounds by Marwin Evans, the strong safety.
These linebackers just eating up the play action fakes, Mike. Utah State Aggie linebackers attacking the run first, thinking new quarterback, obviously 1,000-yard rusher in the backfield. They're going to try to attack Brian Hill, but 2 excellent decisions by Nick Smith to pull those footballs down and run and not throw a low percentage pass.
First and 10 of the 36. After a quarterback run, it's Hill who goes through the middle and picks up 3 on the carry. You look at the company he's in, too. His great company among leading rushers in the country. But Hill, not number 1 on the depth chart to start the year, was behind Sean Wick. Nick Smith was behind Cameron Kaufman at quarterback and Josh Allen, who had a broken clavicle. And then Tanner Gentry, their top wide receiver, has gone down as well with an injury.
That's a lot of production out of that lineup, Mike.
8th play of the drive for the Cowboys. Hill with a stutter step. Gets himself into the 2nd level of the defense and goes down. It'll be about 3rd and 2 after a 5-yard carry from Hill.
Brent Vegan, Wyoming offensive coordinator, going with that wing T look almost with a single back. Double wing, I like it. Get you 2 extra big bodies into the game, and you can attack the edge, attack the perimeter of the Utah State defense. This is not a bulky front 7 for Utah State, and they're banged up in the middle, and you can see Vegan and Wyoming attacking the interior of that defense early.
Smith, and he's spotted short of the marker. 4th down and about 1. They're inside the 30-yard line, but this has not been an area where they kick field goals. Their freshman kicker, Tristan Bailey, just 1 of 7. So if they're outside the 25, they're likely to go for it. 8 of 15 on 4th downs this year.
Left guard is their most experienced offensive lineman.
Smith with a push, and he's got the first down for Wyoming.
Nice job by those middle 3 up front. Troy Boylan, Charlie Renfrey, Chase Roulier, center and 2 guards for this Cowboy offense, getting a little bit of a push. All you have to do, stay low, come off the football, wedge block, create a little bit of space for your quarterback to lean forward and attempt to pick up first down yardage. You see here that widening out again, Mike, so changing up the formations, not allowing Utah State to dial in and blitz and bring pressure.
A little bit of misdirection on the fake sweep they give to Hill right side. And he tumbles for another first down inside the 15-yard line.
Power play back underneath, but the jet sweep motion pulls you away. Jacob Hollister, the tight end, with a really nice block. 88's going to pull around. You'll see him up back. He'll pull around. You have a nice kick-out block. That allows Brian Hill to get north and south. And Hill does such a nice job of just having patience, squeezing through, finding space, and then darting north and south.
Five carries for Hill on the drive, 34 yards on the ground for the sophomore running back. They give it to him right side. Nice kick out block by Van Manen. And then a sweeping tackle takes him out at the 8-yard line.
Brian Hill almost got a little bit ahead of himself here. He had Charlie Renfrey, his center, out front, 64. Pulls around, opportunity to make a play. If he can just be patient, wait on his offensive lineman to get out, throw a block, or even just use him as a shield. Still, a pretty good pickup on first down. These 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6s, it's exactly where you want to be with the first time starting quarterback on the road.
Very manageable situation for Smith. Hill out of the game, so they go to the air. Smith throwing end zone, and it's a touchdown. Jake Malhart, his 6th touchdown catch of the year, and they're an extra point away from tying it up on the road.
Brent Vigen gave Nick Smith very deliberate routes on this drive, Mike. Didn't have 3, 4, 5 options. It was play action and know exactly where you're going to go. Take a look at the replay. An excellent fake by Smith. He knows the out route's going to be there. Has to deliver it low and outside. Great accuracy. Wyoming right back in this football game.
Tristan Bailey on for the extra point. 19 of 21 on point after this season. And the true freshman from Colorado Springs knocks it through. 7-7. Nick Smith, the first-time starter, leads a 13-play, 7-minute drive, capped off with a touchdown to Jake Malhart to lock it up.
ESPN College Football is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Sandwiches and in part by Cadillac.
A little grumpy cat as we bring you back here to Logan, Utah. Mike Cousins and Cole Kublik in a 7-7 ball game. With 5:43 to go in the first quarter, a nice drive for Nick Smith at his first career start, hooking up with Jake Malhart. The touchdown reception as Wyoming looks for its 2nd win of the year. They started off the season 0-6, which they hadn't done in 76 years. But got a win over Nevada a couple of weeks ago and then lost to Boise State 34-14 on the road.
Nick Smith did cap off an 80-plus yard touchdown drive last week coming in reserve duty, so it's not the first time he's done it.
Ethan Wood lets it fly. And the return out across the 20-yard line. Jalen Davis brings it out. Starting field position at the 22 when we return for Utah State. Tomorrow, College Game Day built by the Home Depot comes to you from Independence Mall in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Number 9 Notre Dame, number 21 Temple. Reese, Kurt, Des, Lee, and the gang get you set for a full day of football starting tomorrow 9 Eastern on ESPN. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Well, it's a first down for Utah State. They spread things out. Trying to go score for score here with Wyoming.
Robert Priester coming up from his cornerback spot, number 2 for the Cowboys. Boy, he was on a mission. Flying into the backfield, trying to take away that jet sweep motion. Forced it back outside, negated a big gain, but came in with reckless abandon there. I like to see that from the defensive backs.
Justin Hervey got the carry for first down. Pick up at 3. Myers, this time with a keeper. And he's got a first down to the 35-yard line for the sophomore from Texas.
Really nice job from Utah State quarterback Kent Myers. Watch him suck this defensive end down. 55, Eddie Yarbrough maybe a little bit of a slant, a stunt inside, but takes himself out of the play. That opens up first down yardage for the Aggies.
And now we've got a whistle coming from the far sideline. This will go against Utah State.
Start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Braylon Roberts, the sophomore wide receiver out of Dallas, whistled for the penalty.
Always struggled with that. Receivers go on ball movement. They can't hear the snap count. How you jump off sides, a little odd.
A little excited to be playing at home on a Friday night. Setback 5, Myers. Nowhere to go as he tries to get out of the pocket, and he's brought down by Eddie Yarbrough, that stud along the defensive line for Wyoming.
I attribute some of this to the coverage, Mike, as Kent Myers goes a hard pump. Made a good decision not to deliver this football, but you'll see the right side of this pocket break down, and Eddie Yarbrough might be a little bit banged up. Here he comes right side of the screen, cleans that up. That's why Eddie Yarbrough is a great football player. The motor continues to run. If he doesn't get there on an initial move, he stays with it and tries to track down the QB.
2nd and 15, going to the sideline. They saw soft coverage, and the catch is made at the 41-yard line.
Mike, you mentioned it. Soft coverage, run-pass option. Predicated on what coverage you get and what coverage you see of whether or not Kent Myers is going to hand that football off or if he's going to pitch it out. Braylon Roberts, the length helps a little bit here. Watch the reach. Go up and get that football. Nice grab.
Roberts with just his 7th catch of the year. Makes it 3rd down and manageable. Now they roll out. It's Roberts again. Upended at the 50-yard line by Robert Priester. But Utah State is finding the open gaps.
Simple play action on rundowns, always so effective for me, Mike, and I love those plays, especially when you have a quarterback as confident as Kent Myers, and when he's a run threat, that helps freeze those defensive ends and outside linebackers. But a nice job by Myers of quickly coming out of that fake, getting rid of the football.
Switching it up, pistol formation. Lawan Hunt, the running back. They fake it to him, go across the middle. The catch and a run down inside the 30-yard line. Wyatt Houston makes the grab, their tight end out of Oregon.
Houston had the touchdown reception on the initial drive. Another play action from Kent Myers. He sells it so well, comes right out of it and delivers a strike. These tight ends having excellent days here so far for Utah State.
Both Hunt and Mays in the backfield with Myers. Give it off to Mays. He's got blocking out to the left side. Across for a first down and knocked out of bounds by Andrew Wingard. One of 3 freshmen in the secondary for Wyoming.
Lawan Hunt with an excellent block here. Power play. And this is what Utah State wants to do, needs to do. They're a run-first football team. They got to play ground and pound. 21, throws a little block out front, and that allows Mays to spring to the outside and pick up big yardage.
First and 10 as Myers is making his 6th start of the year, directs the show. Back to Mays, ahead for 3.
Well, it's becoming obvious, Mike, the weakness of this defense that Utah State sees is the edge, is off tackle just to the outside. They're testing the outside linebackers with routes to the tight ends, down the seams, on the outside. And then these outside runs off tackle having some success as well.
Myers, a perfect start to the game. Is also a very capable rusher as well, showing his talent through the air. Back to the left side, and it's a wide open path for Devontae Mays. His 6th rushing touchdown of the year.
Well, Jake Simon is just going to get the credit. 76, Mike. He pulls around. Excellent kick-out block. Devontae Mays finishes it off.
Gone into the end zone untouched. Knows how to find his. Grew up in a household as one of 10 children in Livingston, Texas. The extra point is true for Brock Warren. Wyoming down a score as we start the second quarter, and his first career start, Nick Smith, Cole, has looked pretty good.
I like the plan that they've put together for the first time starter.
So he wears number 15, and they say that he reminds them a little bit of Tim Tebow.
He's got that build. He's a big physical kid, but I like the way that Craig Bohl and Brent Vigen have mixed things up for Nick Smith. Get him outside of the pocket, play actions, easy throws, easy reads, and he's made good decisions. He's known, pull the football down, don't risk an interception or a turnover. You have the capability to run and get yardage on your own. Tuck it and go. He's been great so far.
He's carried 6 times for 25 yards. Give to Hill over to the left side, and he tumbles forward to the 44-yard line to set up a 3rd down and 2. Smith out of Merritt Island, Florida. Not exactly the type of guy you think that might end up at Wyoming and Casper, but his family had property in Wyoming, which Craig Bohl said made it easier to recruit him out to play for the Cowboys.
Take advantage of opportunities, and he's got a great one here tonight. He's capitalized early on.
Hill is the easy choice on 3rd and short. He's got midfield and more. Cutting back at the 40-yard line, and the run finally terminates there. Pickup of about 17 for Hill on the carry.
That's why I like multiple tight end sets, Mike. You stretch the defense, and if they want to try and play you down inside, the bounce out's going to be there. Watch Brian Hill just bounces football to the outside and has explosiveness to beat that defense to the sideline. And we mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. He's not going to step out of bounds, not afraid of contact, will not shy away from being a physical ball carrier, always looking for the yak yards.
9 carries for him, and expect that workload to be heavy all night. Carry number 10. A spin back inside, and where there was nothing, where Chase Roulier couldn't hold the block at left guard, he picked up a little bit extra.
It's asking a lot. You get a big 300-pounder out on the edge. You got an outside linebacker that's 230, 240. He's juking and jiving around. You're trying to stay in front of him. It's difficult to watch the breastplate instead of the helmet or the arms flailing around. But nonetheless, Brian Hill understands how to make cuts, Mike. He presses the line of scrimmage. He gets to the outside, waits on his lineman, and then he makes a cut, and he's very decisive after he does.
His backup, Kellen Overstreet, to the right in the shotgun. He serves as a lead blocker for Smith. Quickly wrapped up by Fackrell, the team's 2nd leading tackler.
You see just what kind of football player Kyler Fackrell is. That lead block by Overstreet turned into more of a get block back from Kyler Fackrell. And as he bucks the running back off, he's able to make the tackle on Brian Hill.
3 out of 4 on 3rd downs. 3rd and 5. Right side of the formation, Overstreet is stood up and stopped short. Overstreet, the freshman from Hamilton, Missouri, securing his spot as the number 2 back. He's not getting it done there.
Safety has to come up and make a play. But I like the play call, Mike. Don't get too risky. Don't get fancy. Go to Brian Hill. Let those big offensive linemen try and bust a hole up. But just an excellent job coming up and filling the hole.
Back to it on 4th down. They converted once in that first quarter. Hill is the running back. Hill left side, he didn't get it. Turnover on downs as the Utah State defense comes up big.
Early on the field.
Penetration will destroy a run play, and that's what you see here from the Aggie defense. Wyoming had been attacking the edge, attacking the perimeter the entire drive, unable to come up with 1st down yardage there as Jordan Nielsen and Tyler Floyd combined on the stop.
They turn away the 6th leading rusher in FBS and can take a 2-score lead when we come back. 14-7 here in Logan, Utah. The Utah State Aggies with the lead over the 1-7 Wyoming Cowboys. Kent Myers shovels it away to Devontae Mays on first down. He's got nice yardage right near the first down marker. And brought down at about the 40-41 yard line by Eddie Yarbrough.
Yeah, good for Wyoming and that staff to see 55 back on the field. Eddie Yarbrough is a playmaker for the Cowboys defense. Now, you don't want him making plays 9 yards down the field. An excellent cut by Devontae Mays.
Second and short, Myers throws, and the pass is caught. It's a first down for Utah State. Flag comes in at the end of the play. We'll see what this call is. Andrew Rodriguez, the junior from Allen, Texas, makes the catch.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 45. Grab the helmet opening. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
25 plus 15 for the penalty on Lucas Waka.
Nice read from Kent Myers, uncovered in the slot. Right there, you see. And Myers goes play action and delivers a strike right over the middle. Excellent read from Kent Myers, understanding soft safety coverage, going to be 10, 15 yards off, has time to get out of that play action and deliver the football.
And quickly sets up great field position for Utah State. Play action to the sideline. All comes loose right at the end, but the play had come to an end as Braylon Roberts hauls it in. A popular target tonight for Myers in the early going.
Myers making nice reads. This is a run-pass option again. You saw center Austin Stevens working his way, going ahead and on up to the second level, but he liked the coverage that he saw. I like the quick routes on the run-pass options. Usually those are behind the line of scrimmage or sort of fade routes, but Utah State likes to pull that football out and deliver some quick out routes.
Myers 8 of 8 through the air, 142 yards. A give and a spin and a tumble down to the 2-yard line for Devontae Mays, who sets up the Aggies right on the doorstep with Sidney Alaulu making the stop.
We started the last 2 weeks, Mike. I think they really want him to be the feature back.
A give up the middle, and it's a touchdown to Utah State. Devontae Mays with the carry. And his second touchdown of the night. How about that call? They just hurried it up right back to the line.
That's where tempo is most beneficial. You catch a defense either in a personnel grouping or in a formation that you like. You just hurry back to the line of scrimmage. You already know it's going to be the same play. Maybe there's an option off of it. Paid off there for the Aggies. That was the epitome of how to use pace and tempo to your advantage.
The hold bobbled a little bit, but the kick from Warren is good. 69-yard drive that lasts 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Mays through the middle, headlong for the score.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Well, after last week against San Diego State, just 239 yards of offense, we still got 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter. And Utah State, with the lead, has put 209 yards of offense together as they lead it 21-7 over Wyoming here at home. Nice balance of run and pass. Ken Myers, the sophomore quarterback, a perfect 8 of 8 through the air. Nowhere to go with that kickoff. They had a touchback. Takes things out for Wyoming. Devontae Mays on that last drive pounded in his second touchdown of the night. Coming to Utah State after spending last year at Blinn Junior College down in Texas. Started his career at Tyler Community College in Texas and has been a nice addition to what has historically been, for Matt Wells, a multi-pronged running back attack. Smith making his first career start at quarterback, gives it away for Hill, who cuts back through the defense, has a first down and keeps rumbling with an extra push from behind. Chase Roulier, his left guard, helps extend the run to the 41 and a gain of 16 on first down.
Mike, this is just a big boy cut from Brian Hill. You mentioned it, 73, Chase Roulier pulls around, but Brian Hill has the wherewithal to stop, not try to stretch that football to the sideline, and understand defense had over pursued a little bit, go back to the interior of that defense, and he finds about an extra 10, 15 yards.
Now Smith turns back and takes a timeout.
One of the first times that the Aggies have showed single safety coverage there, and Nick Smith makes the correct decision. Get out of it if you're not confident.
And how interesting it is for him, a guy who was number 3 in the preseason depth chart. Makes a good decision there to stop the clock. Tomorrow afternoon, college football presented by Kate Jewelers and 5 Hour Energy. Clemson at 7-0 against NC State. And Maryland and Iowa City for the number 10 Hawkeyes, ABC or ESPN2, starting at 3:30 Eastern. Also live on Watch ESPN. Down a couple scores, Wyoming out of a timeout. 1st and 10. Design run for Smith, who's got his running back Hill as a lead blocker. And a nice carry there for Smith.
Most defensive coordinators, Mike, will tell you, quarterback is the unaccounted for man. Defenses have just not been drawn up to play for the quarterback that has mobility, very similar to Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson.
He's 11-1 as a starter for the Tigers. Smith, in just his first career start today, they've got a streak of 35 straight wins, Clemson does, against unranked teams, trying to keep that alive tomorrow against NC State.
I think his arm will be the difference. Artavis Scott saw him a lot in that package. Pretty good rush defense for North Carolina State. Through the air is how Watson will win.
It's Hill through the middle. He's got first down yardage. Grab from behind by Vigil, whose brother, Zach, was a great linebacker here last year. Those two were team leaders right in the middle of that defense for Utah State. A 10-win season for them last year.
85 tackles on the season now for Nick Vigil. Very active linebacker. Flourishes in this system, playing just behind 3 down linemen. But he'll come up and play near the line of scrimmage, or he can go sideline to sideline.
Hollister, the tight end, shifts back to his original position. And Hill through the first layer of defense with speed breaking away from the defense. He's inside the 15, the 5. He dives at the pylon, and he is in. Touchdown, Brian Hill. What a second effort to take that one for the score.
Wow. We discussed the power that Brian Hill has. Just bouncing off defenders, turning a 180 to the opposite sideline, and then the speed to get to the corner of the end zone, 30 yards away.
47-yard touchdown for Hill.
Drew Van Manen is going to lose a little bit of a block here, and Brian Hill just bounces right off and able to take it to the house. Excellent speed after really coming to a complete stop. Talk about that burst of just coming to a stop, starting and stopping speed, that 10-yard burst they talk about at the combine in the 40. Brian Hill's got it.
14 carries for him tonight and 130 yards for Hill. My goodness, last week he had 23 carries for just 76 yards, but he's helped keep Wyoming, an underdog coming into the game, right in it, down 1 score in the second quarter. Nobody's held the ball for all too long tonight. That last drive for Wyoming lasted all of 2 minutes and 10 seconds as Brian Hill went for a 47-yard touchdown run. And made it a 21-14 game. We've still got about 7 minutes left here in this second quarter, and already a bevy of points up on the board between these two teams.
You can see him resting on his fullback there, Drew Van Manen, just trying to get a little bit of a breather. He needs a blow. He's worked hard today already.
Wood sends it to the corner and kicks it out of bounds. It's the third time.
Out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball's placed at the 35-yard line. First down, Utah State.
Third time that Wood has kicked it out of bounds this year.
Mike, let's take a look at Brian Hill and just how effective he has been. It's been between the tackles. It's been outside the tackles, but the burst, after slowly coming to a stop or slowing down, getting to the outside, has been what I've been most impressed with Brian Hill. I knew he could get it done with contact. I knew he could get the yards after contact, but the speed after contact and getting back to full speed quickly is what's really impressed me tonight by the Wyoming running back.
He's averaging about 9 yards a carry tonight.
Well, you mentioned he's at 130 for the game. He averages 132.6 a game, which is on pace to set the school record for most yards rushing per game in a season. He's got a little time to tack onto that this evening.
Got the officials chatting with Matt Wells, the head coach of Utah State. Presumably he wanted to see if he could get it center hash. But because it's kicked out of bounds, they start on the right side, 1st and 10 from their 35. First down handoff to Devontae Mays. And a bowling ball collision ends the run at the 49-yard line as Lucas Waka makes the stop.
Mike, it's a 4-3 defense with the linebacker removed over the slot receiver, but you have two backs in the backfield with a tight end. It's a nice run look for Utah State. Wyoming's going to have to make an adjustment to slow that run down. Can't stay in this defense.
And they go 4-down lineman again. Back to the ground for Utah State. Mays having trouble trying to work his way across the 50-yard line. A gain of maybe 1 there for the junior out of Texas.
You saw Wyoming flash a safety down to the line of scrimmage. Before that play, they go cover one, single deep safety, trying to bring that extra defender into the box and help against the run.
Wyoming defense, 9th in the Mountain West in terms of rush yards per game. They give up about 213 a night. Not much doing there as Waka comes in to make the stop on Lawan Hunt, who shares those carries with Mays. Hunt, the sophomore out of Las Vegas.
That young man right there, Lucas Waka, about 214 pounds for your Mike linebacker. And right there, sticking the helmet right into the chest of Devontae Mays, a 220-pound running back. So giving up 5-6 pounds. He'll still play some physical football, though.
3rd and 6. See if Waka and the defense can get a stop. Myers with a quick completion across the 40-yard line.
Nice read from Kent Myers, Utah State quarterback. Wyoming drops back, zone blitz. They only rush 3. You're going to have time to operate, and just the right play call against zone coverage, able to find some space.
Finding his tight end, Wyatt Houston. Back to the ground. Granderson can't make the tackle along the defensive line. And a nice bounce out for Devontae Mays.
Devontae Mays, just a physical back, zone play. Kind of has that uncanny ability that never looks like he's moving extremely fast, but he just keeps bouncing and keeps bouncing and runs through defenders. But Mike, the Wyoming defense is going to have to be careful and stay with that quarterback keep. Kent Myers had a lot of space if he decides to pull that football down on the previous play.
And he certainly can. Earlier this year set a Utah State quarterback rushing record. A chance for a touchdown, they've got it. Brandon Swindle. There is a flag down though at the 5-yard line.
So they go play action, Mike. Lawan Hunt leads the way down the sideline. And they look for 26, Kennedy Williams out of the backfield on that wheel route. He's covered. They hit the underneath crosser, and Williams is holding down around the 5-yard line to negate the touchdown. Take another look. You'll see Williams, bottom left of your screen. There's the hold. Must release the defender. If it's a one-on-one situation in space and he wants to detach and attempt to go make a tackle, Williams didn't do it there.
Sets him back at the 14-yard line. Mays turns it to the right and picks up 4 yards.
I do want to go back to that previous play, though. So many times you'll see that play action and that wheel route comes out. A lot of teams have success with it. It's in almost every offense. But you don't usually have that underneath secondary option that Utah State kept there. Josh Heupel, a nice play call, knowing that if that wheel route's covered, we really don't have an option. Instead of throwing away, put a little crosser with it, and you can dump it off.
Heupel, the new offensive coordinator, coming in from Oklahoma after he was let go after their bowl loss the end of last season. Now Myers, he's got his tight end Houston in front of him, tries to use that block. Cut down by Waka at the 7-yard line.
The fans don't like it, but it's a nice decision by Kent Myers to just pull this ball down and run. No one open, good coverage from that Wyoming defense. Wyatt Houston, I like the way he tries to stop and peel back and get a little bit of a block on Eddie Yarbrough, 55. Not enough space there to sneak into the end zone.
Not easy to block Yarbrough either. He's their most experienced player, making his 36th start today along that defensive line. And now we've got a whistle and a timeout taken by Utah State.
First charge timeout.
They stop things here with 3:08 left before halftime.
Utah State has really worked this drive. It feels like it's been one that's loaded with big plays, but they've eaten some clock. Now you're down around the 10-yard line, inside the 10-yard line. Coach Wells and his staff want to make sure they come away with points here. So play calling in the red zone has been successful so far. We've seen some of those play action passes work out.
Cole, big game coming up tomorrow night. It's number 9 Notre Dame and number 21 Temple. The Owls 7-0 for the first time ever. 6-1 Notre Dame's playoff hopes very much alive if they can win out to finish off the season. Notre Dame Temple 8 Eastern on ABC. It's the site of College Game Day in Philadelphia. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN.
I'm excited about that matchup. CJ Prosise, 100 yards in 5 of 7 games. Notre Dame running back this year. Going against that 6th best rush defense in the country of the Temple Owls, giving up under 92 yards a game on the ground.
A really nice job by defensive coordinator Phil Snow this year with an exceptionally experienced defensive unit. Now some more whistles precede the snap
on the
here.
field for
Lucas
injury.
Waka
The player's bleeding.
has to come off the field. No good there as the middle linebacker and stud of that linebacking core is off the field for Wyoming.
And you see a couple of splotches of blood on his pants there too, sticking out on those yellow drawers.
Hunter Sharp, their leading wide receiver, goes in motion to the slot. They fake the give, and the run for Myers is sniffed out. He's down to the 5, gets 2, and nothing more. It's 3rd and goal after the tackle from Yarbrough.
Boy, Eddie Yarbrough, the rip through the pulling offensive lineman. I love this. You see a rip move a lot of times in pass rush, but he just takes his left arm and almost a gigantic uppercut on the offensive lineman that's pulling around and bowls his way through, able to come backside and make that tackle on the quarterback sweep. Nice play from 55, Eddie Yarbrough.
Third and goal. Lindsey is the running back. He runs out of the formation. Myers takes off. Nowhere to go. Sidney Mala'ulu helps wrap him up at the waist. 4th and goal, and here comes the field goal team.
Mala'ulu, you mentioned it. He's a redshirt freshman, Mike. He finishes this play off, but 55 again, Eddie Yarbrough We'll take a look here. One-on-one. Coming underneath, that's that rip move again. And then Sydney Mala'ulu, the 300-pounder, tracking down Kent Myers for the sack.
22-yard try for Brock Warren, a perfect 5 of 5 on the year. Kick is up, and it is good. So Wyoming, relatively speaking, slows down the Utah State offense, and they hold them to 3 with $1:38 to play in the half. Coming up on the DXL halftime report, a look at Notre Dame and Temple, the only ranked matchup of the weekend. Georgia and Florida, a crucial game in the SEC East, and the bare necessities with our friend and yours, Chris Fallica. So we'll take a look at that. Minute 39 left here in the first half. A field goal from Utah State makes it a 10-point game, 24-14, with Wyoming set to receive the kickoff. And a little bit of time to try and do some damage before the half. They will get the ball to start the second half as Utah State won the opening toss, elected to receive the ball, and it proved to be a fruitful decision.
Is the Bear giving some picks at halftime?
You'll have to tune in to the DXL halftime report, won't you?
I'll do that on my Watch ESPN app on my cellular telephone.
Thompson gets his 26th touchback of the year on that kickoff. Cole, how would you evaluate Nick Smith so far here, making his first career start?
Fantastic. He's made good reads. They've given him some option plays where he's had the ability to either pull or keep. And they haven't allowed him to really challenge down the field, and that's why I'm intrigued to see how this drive plays out. Do you go 2-minute offense, or do you just stick with what's worked so far, keep it simple?
Well, they're hungry for a win, just 1-7. And they go back to what has worked. Brian Hill, their running back, already 130 yards tonight, gains 2 there with the clock ticking against him.
One thing that's a little odd about Brian Hill hits the hole fast. He goes hard. The snap seemed to be coming a little slow. They're almost lofting back there. It's almost as if Brian Hill wants the football and is ready to go, and Nick Smith is still waiting on the floating snap to get there.
He may get tested, throwing it, but he doesn't. They run it, and he stood up right away. Marwin Evans coming up from his safety spot. The senior from Milwaukee with a big play on second down.
Marwin Evans' big plays, nothing new. He had a 90-yard interception return for a touchdown against Boise a few weeks ago. It was his first career interception, just coming up from the secondary, busting through the stalk block of the wide receiver and making a play in the backfield.
Now we've got a timeout taken by Utah State here, which pauses things. 38 seconds left on the stadium clock. And a smart move here with a 3rd and 9 coming up. It's a very strong defense that over the last 3 seasons has allowed only 3.13 yards a carry. 4th best in the country behind, here's great company, Alabama, Michigan State, and Stanford. So Hill has gotten off to a good start so far tonight, but they know how to stop the run.
Well, in their defense, it's active as far as finding ways to get the football, jar the football loose, turn the football over. It's a quality program here that Matt Wells and his staff continue to build in Logan, Utah.
3 straight bowl wins for this program and 30-plus wins over the last 3 seasons. Last year, a 10-win campaign for them. 10-4 a year ago.
3rd and long. They have the bodies here to cut a couple guys loose and really attack Nick Smith.
Instead, the handoff goes to Overstreet, and he doesn't get enough to pick up a first down. Another timeout by Utah State. Stops the clock at 42 seconds. Diligent timeout usage here against Wyoming.
And Overstreet looks a little nicked up, Mike, and that's not good. Not because Brian Hill, we know, is still available, but the depth at this position for this football team is just, it's almost absent.
It has been. They've cycled through Nico Evans and Josh Tapscott, Craig Bowl and Brent Vegan said they basically felt like they were spinning their wheels without a true number 2 running back. So they called on Overstreet to fill that role. He only had 9 carries coming into the game, but Hill has really gotten a heavy workload. Season high in carries for him is 33, and you wouldn't be surprised if he approaches or passes that tonight.
I think what they are trying to do here, Brent Vegan and company, Craig Bowl, they just want to try and rest Brian Hill, get him an extended break before the half because they knew they weren't going to be able to go 2-minute offense. You're not going to allow a quarterback making his first career start against a defense that has quality edge players that can affect the pocket go out and try to move this football down the field with 40 seconds left. You see the numbers from Hill tonight. Fabulous.
Ethan Wood on to punt. Jalen Davis is back to receive, standing at his own 25, and the punt is blocked. Down inside the 10, and Utah State loses it. The Aggies recover in the end zone, and it's a touchdown for Utah State.
John Trell Rockamore falls on that football for the Aggies. Rockamore had a 97-yard fumble return for touchdown a few weeks ago. And this is just kind of right place, right time. Utah State comes after it, has Wyoming outnumbered. Rockamore picks up the fumbled scoop and score for a score of his own.
Brock Carmen able to block it. Rockamore with the recovery, and that looms large now. A chance to make it a 17-point game before halftime.
It's not even close. It's just, there's 3 Utah State players that basically blocked the punt.
And that is blocked. Special teams firing both ways here for Wyoming and Utah State, so it stays a 30-14 ball game with 34 seconds left in the half.
And that's Eddie Yarbrough, their playmaker, their leader on defense. Almost looks as though like the Utah State offensive line got a little lax there. Took a play off. Yarbrough wasn't taking a play off. He's ready to roll.
As he has been all night along the defensive line. Well, big games coming up this weekend, Cole. There's a lot to watch for Saturday. Syracuse and Florida State as the Seminoles look to get back on track. How about Maryland and Iowa, number 10 team in the country, undefeated, a little bit of a playoff dark horse there?
Possibly. Kurt Ferentz done a nice job, but you look at that resume, and it's hard to find a way to make yourself be impressed with what Iowa has done this season other than just winning their football games, which is a big deal, and it's nice.
It'll be tough with their strength of schedule there.
Well, you look projecting out. They don't play another team that's currently ranked in the AP top 25 the rest of the season.
So another chance here for Wyoming. And you imagine they'd like to take it to the locker room. Exactly where things stand. 34 seconds left in the half. They will get the ball coming out of the locker room after Utah State won the opening toss, took the ball, drove down the field 75 yards, and pounded it into the end zone. It's Hill back to work, his 16th carry of the night, just trying to pound his way through that defense and doesn't have much room. Torrey Green, the former walk-on, comes up to bring him down.
You have to respect it. The guy's never down a play. He's bouncing off defenders. He's running through arm tackles, and unfortunately, looks like he's a little bit shaken up. That's not good news for this Cowboy football team.
trainers come out and take a look at it. And we mentioned it earlier that Hill was second on the depth chart at running back to begin this season behind Sean Wick, who's gone down with concussion issues among many positions. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back have all lost their top threat for Wyoming.
I feel the good news here, it appears as though they're trying to stretch that calf out, maybe massage the calf a little bit. Lower extremity hopefully just cramping up for Brian Hill, and that's all he's going to have to deal with. You see the cut back inside and then just going to take on a few extra blockers. Sometimes when you exert a little bit of extra energy, that leg just locks up on you.
Hill has gone for 16 carries, 138 yards tonight.
Yeah, he didn't appear to torque either lower leg or extremity in any odd direction or have anybody fall on him in an awkward manner. So,
and Cole, like you said, behind him, it is a very thin roster of running backs. Kellen Overstreet, the next option, Nico Evans behind him, but good to see Hill back to his feet here before the end of the half.
I think that was just a cramp. I think he's going to be good to go. So, good news for the Cowboys.
Already his fourth career game with more than 100 yards. So that brings us to the end of the first half, where it's Utah State 30 and Wyoming 14. Adnan Verk and Joey Galloway will have the DXL halftime report for you after this quick commercial break. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Finale, presented by Jimmy John's. A 30-14 lead for Utah State at the end of one half. Mike Cousins, glad to have you along with former Auburn standout Cole Kubelik. Opening kickoff was received by Utah State. They took it in for a score, so Wyoming opens the second half receiving the ball here. Cole, what do the Cowboys need to do to make it a comeback and pick up win number 2 of the year?
Well, stay with Brian Hill on offense, but you're going to have to expand outside of your star running back a little bit. I want to see some shots down the field from Wyoming, take a few chances vertically, and then find a way to play a little bit of defense. It just doesn't even feel like the Aggies have had to cross an obstacle to get into the end zone or between the uprights this evening.
Here comes DJ May on the return out to the 23-yard line, where he meets a host of Aggie defenders and is pushed back there. So a great first half for running back Brian Hill, who carried for 138 yards and a touchdown and is now second among FBS running backs, just 153 yards behind Leonard Fournette, the Heisman Trophy race leader right now.
That's decent company for Brian Hill. 8.6 per carry tonight. It's not shabby.
He comes out on the right, shotgun with Nick Smith, the redshirt freshman quarterback, making his first career start through just 4 passes in the first half, 3 of 4 through the air, and this one is tipped and it falls incomplete. Marwin Evans got a hand on it as he backpedaled toward the sideline.
Well, Nick Smith's going to take a shot as he delivers this football. Nice play action look, but has to understand that pressure is coming and get rid of the football a little bit earlier. Torrey Green, 39, the outside linebacker, gave him the shot to the ribcage.
Green, the former walk-on, helps make it 2nd and 10. Smith turns and stuffs it into the gut of Hill, and he's quickly wrapped up by Nick Vigil. It's his 11th career multi-tackle game, 11 tonight.
Well, 41 gets in on the stop, but 39 again, Torrey Green. We called his name with the pressure on first down. An excellent job of taking on a pulling offensive lineman, spilling that run to the outside, which allowed Vigil to scrape over the top and make that play.
Third down, they need 13 here, and Smith passed for only 27 yards in the first half. Price in motion to set all the receivers on the wide side of the field. Pressure comes, and Smith goes down. Torrey Green makes the sack.
Just give Green credit for that entire series, shutting down the Wyoming offense. Mike, this is unacceptable. You have to understand, pressure coming from the opposite side. The running back releases out. Nick Smith needs to keep the running back in, put him on the blitzing linebacker, Torrey Green. That doesn't happen. That's a youth mistake, in my opinion.
Last punt was blocked, returned for a touchdown. Wood gets this one away. And it rolls out near midfield. A flag comes in right at the end of the play. We'll check that before the start of this Utah State offensive series. Registers as a kick of 35 yards for Ethan Wood. Referee tonight is Brandon Bruce.
There's no foul in the play. The contact in question was legal. The ball was illegally touched at the 46-yard line. First down, Utah State.
And back to work for Kent Myers, the sophomore out of Texas, who is supposed to redshirt in each of his first 2 years. He's been great tonight for Utah State.
10 of 10 this evening. Doesn't get a whole lot better than that. 171 yards, a touchdown, hadn't turned the football over. He's made good decisions. Solid evening for the junior quarterback.
14th time this year they've started a drive in their opponent's territory, and it's back to work for Devontae Mays, his 13th carry of the game.
Another snap there that we see Eddie Yarbrough, 55, almost taking himself out of the play as Wyoming continues to try and stunt up front, bring those defensive linemen on slants, try to get them in the backfield, cause some penetration and disrupt, but plays like that works against you, and the Aggies are in a positive second down situation.
With motion, it's an option for Myers. He keeps it himself, cuts it back inside to the 35-yard line, and he's got himself a first down on the keeper, brought down by Sidney Malaulu, the nose tackle.
Well, this is great play by Robert Priester, the cornerback for Wyoming. He was in man coverage. When he saw the motion come over, he immediately sprints to that backfield, but doesn't attack quarterback Kent Myers. He ran directly to the pitch man. That forced Myers back inside, allowed his teammates to come over and make a play. Nice job.
Myers back, pressure picked up well. He heaves over the middle of the field, and the pass is incomplete.
Robert Priester again, on the coverage, just made that play a moment ago, or helped make the play a moment ago. And we'll check him out in coverage here late. A little bump on the back, but goes up over the top and gets a hand on this football. Affects the play. You don't always have to bat it down. Don't always have to intercept it. Doesn't have to look great. Just affect the play in a negative way for that receiver. Priester does just that there.
First incompletion of the night. Quick handoff, Mays, who carries it right. And a nice pickup there from the junior. Gain of 6. So he's gotten good heavy workloads on back-to-back games now for Mays. That's his 14th carry of the game after last week against San Diego State, a career-high 15 carries.
And he's come on as the season has progressed, and I feel like he's a guy that really, he wasn't in shape during spring football. We talked to Josh Heupel, the offensive coordinator, about that yesterday. He said came in mid-January, a little overweight in spring practice, wasn't able to really be who they wanted him to be. Really credit him for in the offseason, getting in shape, getting in football shape, changing his body, and now you can see just what kind of an elite running back he has a chance to be.
Myers tackled on the run by Andrew Winger, the safety, last year's Gatorade Player of the Year in Colorado. That's now 4th down and 1. Utah State 6 of 10 on 4th down this season. They've got great field position here. They know that they've been able to stop Wyoming. We'll see what they do. Hand off to the left side of the line, around the corner, a first down. Mays does it again, tying his career high, a 15th carry of the night. Wingard stops him, but after the first down is grabbed.
Robert Priester, the corner, comes up to help on that stop also. And now Devontae Mays looks a little shaken up. Check the replay. Just off left tackle, but bouncing it outside. The vision and the ability to stay with the play and understand you only need a yard or two here, so it doesn't have to turn into an explosive play. Good job picking up first down yardage.
They spell Mays with Hunt to the right of Myers. Myers with good speed. Wingard stops him down to the 5-yard line, but it's a gain of 12. First down for Kent Myers. Came into this game with 265 yards rushing, 191 of those in one game against Colorado State. He is always a threat to move, as was Chucky Keaton before his injury. They keep it with the quarterback into the end zone, and it's a touchdown for Utah State. Myers with his 3rd score on the ground this year.
I'm not sure about the pirouette after the touchdown, Mike, but it's a nice run, shows his mobility. You just mentioned it. Kent Myers has great scrambling ability and shows you there he's not afraid to go between the tackles.
The way they were so heavy on that running back attack between Mays and Hunt, Myers takes advantage of over pursuit. And Brock Warren is on for the extra point. Had one blocked earlier. This one is good. And it makes it 37-14. Utah State has only lost back-to-back once in the last 55 games. Right now, looking like they're in pretty good shape at home. Well, it's a great matchup for College Game Day, built by the Home Depot from Independence Mall in Philadelphia. Number 9 Notre Dame, number 21 Temple. Starts tomorrow 9 Eastern on ESPN. Cole, you know Independence Hall, the site of the Constitutional Convention. You know the only state that didn't show up to that? Rhode Island. But I bet you the little Rhodey delegation would show up for College Game Day, right?
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I was glad you didn't say Alabama.
A little bit too early for that. Here we are in the Beehive state of Utah. And after the kickoff, Wyoming coming out to the 25-yard line, trying to get their offense going after Utah State has had really no problem tonight. 5 drives, 4 touchdowns, and a field goal for the Aggies.
I don't think there's any question. Worst drive of the game for Wyoming on their last possession. First time that we've seen penetration really disrupt some run plays. And then first time we've seen Nick Smith have to spend an elongated amount of time in the pocket, go through progressions. He missed the blitz pickup, had an opportunity to redirect protection, didn't see it. That cost him the possession. Uncovered slot receiver at the bottom.
They go away from the receivers. And a keeper for Smith. He gets 5. Great football lineage in his blood. His grandfather, Bob Stransky, an All-American tailback at Colorado, played for the Broncos, the original Denver Broncos, and his dad played defensive end at Clemson. Great size for Smith, 6'4", 233.
He has that forward lean, too, on his runs that I really like. Keeps his head above his feet, in front of his feet.
Second and 5, Parker in motion. Hill goes right through the middle, spins his way forward, and the spot looks like enough for a first down.
So many running backs, Mike, you'll see they get the football and then they just kind of run. They just take off. What I like about Brian Hill, he seems to have a great feel and a knack for exactly what run play it is. If it's a sprint draw similar to that play, then he's taking the football and he's going north and south in the A-gap. If it's an outside zone play, he shows a little more patience. He dials it down, waits for a block, and then turns upfield.
Hill now the second leading rusher in FBS, only behind LSU's Leonard Fournette. First down carry, follows his blocker, takes his speed across midfield. 15 yards for Hill, who continues to pound away at the Utah State defense.
Jacob Hollister, tight ends out front. You'll see him. He pulls around. Brian Hill just kind of bangs off of him.
Out of my way.
Continues that run, and then shifty downfield. Yards after contact. So elusive in the open field for the 6'1", 211-pound sophomore.
$157 for him tonight. 4 out of the last 5. He has eclipsed the 100-yard mark. A little bit of confusion. Stopped by Nick Vigil for a couple yards. Well, Hill, interesting story on his recruiting. Craig Bohl and his staff started going after him when they were still at North Dakota State a couple of years ago. And a lot of schools saw him as a defensive player, but they wanted him as a running back. And when they made that jump to Wyoming, last year, they said that was the big pull. We can play you at an FBS level, play you as a running back, and here he is, one of the best in the country. Nothing doing, maybe 1 yard going forward.
Just really the numbers there stacked up for that Aggie defense. This kind of goes back to that experience that we talked about with Nick Smith. There are certain plays as he grows and progresses and gets more meaningful snaps, he'll understand how to get out of another play, trade the running back from his left over to his right, run that zone read the opposite direction where you have the bodies that give you a better chance to make the play successful.
Wyoming 3 of 7 on 3rd down tonight. Under pressure, short toss, Hill, and he was wrapped up by Vigil as he made the catch. How about that?
Very, very dangerous throw from Nick Smith. Trying to set up a screen. I like the play call, actually, a screen here, because that pressure has been coming. You know the edge guys, whether it's Torrey Green, Nick Vigil, Kyler Fackrell, this defense is going to come after you, so try to slip a screen back underneath, but Vigil with an excellent read on that previous play.
Ethan Woods' punt is a high one toward the sideline. Rodriguez angles over for it, but the kick goes out of bounds. And it's a drive that does not bear fruit for Wyoming. The team is 1-7 this year, trails midway through the 3rd.
Hey, we've talked about it all week. You're prepared right now, okay? Take confidence in your preparation, okay? Take confidence in your teammates. Take confidence in your coaching, all right? All you got right out of the gate. Everybody good? Okay, you got juice, you got energy, let's go. Okay, all 3 things. Highest level you got today. Right out of the gate. 1, 2, 3.
You gotta wear earplugs in the Utah State locker room these days. Matt Wells in his 3rd season getting this team riled up. 10 wins last year, their 2nd highest total in school history. And right now, trying to push their way toward win number 5 on the year. Very comfortable edge, 37-14 here at Maverick Stadium in Logan. Myers rolling out, and his pass is incomplete. Now 10 of 12 on the night, 171 yards.
Had that deep crosser coming right over the middle of the field, Mike. If you'd taken a little bit more time, could have maybe found that, tried to squeeze that football in. Bounces off the shoulder pad.
Sticks it into the gut of Devontae Mays. A steamrolling run for a 1st down.
I feel like if you could just throttle back for just a moment and allow your offensive lineman to go out there and get a body on a body and then make a cut, could have turned this into an explosive play. Nice run from Devontae Mays. Either way, as you saw, Austin Albrecht, big 69, pulling out front.
Another run, a nice hurdle, and a powerful stab right through Andrew Wingard to punctuate that carry by Mays, his 17th of the night. My goodness.
They'll have to exit the game as the helmet pops off, but Tyshawn Mosley, 72, is going to pull around Watch 72 go low. Boom, right there. Get a big block. And then Devontae Mays can just make the rest happen on his own.
Mays right now 115 yards. He's the first running back this year for Utah State to go over 100 yards in a game. Hunt fumbles the ball. It's loose. Who's got it? Wyoming says they do, and so do the officials. Loose ball, and now a chance on the comeback trail for the Cowboys. Eddie Yarbrough forced the fumble and fell on top of it.
55 making another play. He's going to be on the right side of your screen. Hunt just tries to cut back, and you see the arm just kind of reach in there and pop it loose. How often do we see these guys, especially having one chin strap unbuckled or the long hair, the helmets pop off? You don't usually see a team pay for it with the guy whose helmet comes off and then his replacement comes in and makes a mistake. Big turnover here for Wyoming.
Parker in motion. It's Hill. Two defenders in pursuit, and he eludes them all out of bounds. Vigil was the closest as Hill took that off the edge.
Vigil had Jacob Hollister, Wyoming tight end, locked in, eye to eye, gives him a little juke. Hollister whiffs, and Vigil's able to run Brian Hill to the sideline to negate a big gain. Hill just so shifty, able to come right to the line of scrimmage and then dart to the right and pick up positive yardage.
Hill threw one tackler, and Fackrell couldn't get him, running toward the boundary. So he keeps it moving to Shane Hines in pursuit as well. Hill has just been so prolific this season. Last week became the 11th Cowboy to rush for 1,000 yards in a season, and the first since Devin Moore, who did it in 2008. But overall, in just 8 games, was the fastest Wyoming player to 1,000. He's got the school single-season rushing record easily in sight, barring injury. Hill gets 5.
Power play, exactly the way you draw it up. Big 61, Caden Jackson's in at right guard. He pulls around, opens up a hole. And Brian Hill just has that patience. He understands the play call, understands where space is going to be created. He just allows for it to open up and then hits the Jets.
Smith, who played tight end on the scout team last year, under center. With play action, he's got time, looking to throw to the sideline. Is the catch made? Justice Murphy is ruled out of bounds.
Boy, Mike, I thought he had a shot right down the middle of the field to 85 Tyree Mayfield, one of his tight ends, off that play action. Instead, he goes to the sideline. 85's on the right side of your screen, going down the seam. Right there, I thought he could have taken a shot.
Oh, boy.
It's an incomplete pass.
That's a big
Plays
missed
under
opportunity.
review.
You know, Mayfield was looking to get open. He's only got 1 catch on the year, playing behind Jacob Hollister.
And you just saw another look there as Justice Murphy right on the sideline. Going to take a look at this.
So Bruce Bain, the replay official, will chat with Brandon Cruz, our referee, tonight, and try and clarify where exactly Murphy was along the sideline and whether he satisfies all the elements of the catch. He does possess the ball. He maintains possession. So the question is going to be, where are his feet?
From the first few angles we got, it did appear as though 1 foot drug in bounds before he actually gets to the paint. Here's a nice look at it.
That left foot looks like it gets down in bounds.
Yeah. There's the left foot down, and ball appears to be possessed.
Well, let's save that for tomorrow, for anything to be possessed. We want that on Halloween. But we can say that Murphy does possess the ball in the active voice. 37-14, Utah State over Wyoming with 3:27 left here in the third. Mike Cousins, Cole Kubelik, Glad to have you along late on a Friday night or Saturday morning, wherever you may find yourself. Crucial play here if this does end up being a completion to help get Wyoming closer toward the end zone and take a little bit of the pressure off Brian Hill's shoulders. And everything that we've seen so far, a great job by our video crew to show you those looks, appears to be a catch.
Just waiting for that indisputable video evidence.
After reviewing the play, the ruling is the ball was caught, firm control with a foot in bounds. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line.
So it's a 17-yard gain. Bring the ball down to the 11-yard line for Wyoming.
Justice Murphy, there's the catch. Pretty much just a one-handed grab. Another freshman contributing for this Wyoming football team.
So going into the red zone where they have not had success coming into this game. Second worst team in FBS in terms of scoring in the red zone. Only 59% of the time. Only Old Dominion 52% worse. Smith tumbles forward inside the 10-yard line.
Really just a flat line option play coming right down the line of scrimmage, and LT Filiunga plays flat down the line of scrimmage, keeps those shoulders square, and takes him right into the play. Nice fundamental football there.
Van Man in the up back, Hill dots the I. Hollister goes left to the formation. Play action. Smith to the 10, keeps it himself out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Cole, this seems like the perfect area of the field where you want to have a quarterback who's able to take off and gain significant yardage by himself.
Especially one that has a little physicality to him, that can take on a defender. I was a little surprised there Smith didn't sort of turn that back inside a little bit and maybe try to force his way down towards the pylon. But a good decision not to go ahead and make that throw. A lot of traffic, multiple defenders back in that corner of the end zone.
Big chance here, 3rd down.
Got to go Brian Hill here, right?
He's been the man tonight for Wyoming. Play action to the 5-yard line. And who else? Kyler Fackrell spins Smith out of bounds. It's 4th down for Wyoming.
I think Nick Smith looks tired. I think he looks fatigued. He is not running at the level that he was earlier in this football game. Play action, zone, and Smith runs right. I just feel like what we saw from him early in the football game, he's getting to the corner of the end zone on that play. I think there's some fatigue setting in for Nick Smith.
And Hill is off the field here. Overstreet is the running back with 3 tight ends on 4th down. Smith looks lost on the play, turns forward, and he's got a touchdown. How about that, Cole? I don't know about you, but it looked like a broken handoff with the way the freshman quarterback spun around, yet he's across the goal line.
It's an odd-looking play, and I think it very well could have been just a situation where this Wyoming staff is going to ask Nick Smith to 6 out, where the linebackers are going to read him, going to give a handoff or make a toss, and then he just turns and goes right back in the A-gap. Could have easily just been a draw play called there, but when you see Kyler Fackrell get penetration, I don't think he expected Nick Smith to be where he was in the backfield.
Tristan Bailey puts it through. A drive that started for Wyoming with defense. Their standout, Eddie Yarbrough, forcing a fumble. No surprise there for a guy who's back-to-back first-team All-Mountain West. And then Nick Smith, his first career start, touchdown QB. former scout team tight end turned quarterback Nick Smith with a short run makes it a 37-21 game with Wyoming on the comeback trail. A minute 25 to go here in the third quarter. West Conference action.
That last touchdown might have gone back to his triple option days in high school when he was a triple option quarterback.
Cowboys scoring their first touchdown off of a turnover this year. Nothing doing on the return. Utah State takes over when we come back. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart on ABC. Number 9 Notre Dame, number 21 Temple. It's 8 Eastern on ABC. Also live on Watch ESPN. Myers to the air. And a first down throw for the sophomore quarterback hooking up with Brandon Swindle.
See how Myers almost adjusted his arm level when he throws his football. He goes a little bit higher to get it over the defense on that slant route. Knew he had to elevate the football's release point so it didn't get batted down.
Glad to have Swindle back after he missed most of last year with a torn Achilles. Mays in the backfield. He's got the carry, nowhere to go through the middle. Andrew Wingard, the safety, the freshman and team's leading tackler, comes up to get him. Wingard is a guy that they really, really like because he's all over the field and from his safety spot, frequently found at the line of scrimmage.
Took over the starting position there in the second game of the season, leads the team in tackles. And that's what this Wyoming defense has had to do tonight because of the success of that run game, is push him towards the line of scrimmage.
Myers down the sideline. And it's ahead to the 45-yard line. Swindle again, his 6th catch of the year, ripped down by Antonio Hall.
Very nice adjustment from Brandon Swindle. Back shoulder fade, knew he had the man coverage. Myers puts it right on that back shoulder breastplate. Excellent catch.
And it brings the third quarter to a close. Utah State comfortably in the lead. They've won their last 3 against Wyoming, trying to make it 4 straight. It's 37-21 Aggies with 15 minutes to play in Logan, Utah. Back to work for Utah State here. So we start the fourth quarter. Mike Cousins and former Auburn standout Cole Kubelik, glad to have you along. A 37-21 edge for Utah State. It is yet to punt tonight. The speedy Myers goes towards the edge for 5. Interesting for Myers as well. Coming into this year, figured he'd be behind Chucky Keaton, who is hopefully coming back soon for Utah State fans. 4 to 6 weeks. This is week number 4 after his tweaked right knee. So Myers went to go play wide receiver during spring ball. And then the last spring practice decided to come back and play quarterback. But as Josh Heupel, their offensive coordinator, told us, missed out on a lot. Here's Devontae Mays once again. That's his 19th carry of the night.
A really nice block there on that play from tight end number 83, Wyatt Houston. Lined up on the left side of that offensive line, just closing off the defensive end of that side, allowing for a nice pickup.
Going to the left side, Mays again, right at the first down marker where he stopped. And Cole, you'd think it would be a really tiring night for this Wyoming defense, but through 3 quarters, Wyoming has held the ball for 5 more minutes than Utah State, so the defense has not been on the field all that long.
And as we saw in that last play, Mike, Once Utah State seems to get into the red zone, they go tempo, they go up pace, they like to hurry things up a little bit.
Mays continues his great night with a first down run.
This Utah State offensive line behind Coach Mark Weber, excellent job tonight, really opened up some nice holes. They've gotten more physical as the game progressed and just haven't seen the adjustments from the Wyoming defense to come up and counterpunch the success with the run game.
Myers cuts back and then brought down by Carl Granderson, the freshman defensive end from Sacramento, California.
Andrew Wingard had a beat on this play, 28 safety for Wyoming. He comes flying up to the line of scrimmage. The pretty good idea that Kent Myers is going to keep this football. He's not going to allow the zone read quarterback keeps to have any more success.
Second and 10 at the 18. Myers straight drop back. And the pass is incomplete. Intended for Tyler Fox and swatted away by Antonio Hull, the freshman.
Hull's fourth pass breakup of the season. I keep calling these freshmen from Wyoming such a young football team for Craig Bohl.
Especially in that secondary, Cole, where they've got 3 of the 4 starters are freshmen and the other, Robert Priester, is a sophomore.
Well, we've seen all of them make plays tonight. Good football players, solid athletes, just inexperience is a very difficult thing to deal with.
10th play of the drive. And a heave to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Utah State. Brandon Swindle, his first touchdown catch of the year.
Pretty cool story here, Brandon Swindle. He actually led the team in touchdown receptions in 2013. Tore his Achilles on the first play of the home opener in 2014. And now back, as you can see, making plays for this Utah State Aggie offense.
And a guy who has followed Matt Wells here to Logan, committed to New Mexico when Wells was the wide receiver coach there. It's proved to be a good decision for him, especially tonight, where his touchdown helps make it 43-21. And the extra point from Brock Warren makes it 44-21. So Swindle, the senior from Oklahoma City, with the score. Aggies running away with it. Celebrating its 11th year of sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Good night for that. 44-21 lead for Utah State. Capping off their drive, Brandon Swindle bringing in a touchdown. So the AP Top 10, Cole, we'll take a look at that with the College Football Playoff having its second year. Those rankings set to come out this coming Tuesday. How do you think it might differ from what we see here in the top 10 when those new rankings come out?
I don't think it'll be too different. I'm not sure that Ohio State will actually be number one. I think maybe Clemson or LSU ends up being number one. I think the committee will value resume. I think LSU and Clemson have the most valuable wins to this point. Now, a lot depends on what happens this weekend also. But I would expect number 3 or 4 on this list most likely to be number 1 with the College Football Playoff Committee.
First down and 10 here for Wyoming. Brian Hill's workload continues to grow as he gets his 24th carry of the night, 9 shy of his career high. That was a point of contention, I think, Cole, at the beginning of the season with the Buckeyes was, well, they're going to keep winning because their schedule is not tough enough. Of course, nothing you can do to dock them there as long as they keep winning and in convincing fashion. But strength of schedule, of course, we know is important for the playoff committee.
Well, Ohio State hasn't played a team that is currently ranked in the AP Top 25. So it's a fair argument to say that what they've done it and who they've done it against is not as impressive as some other football teams.
On the ride, Smith elects to keep it himself. Utah State sniffs it out. And I know that's a number you were big on, Cole, looking up, is the number of ranked opponents left for these top 10 teams.
Hey, you look at who has the toughest task remaining. Baylor, Notre Dame, TCU still have 3 ranked opponents remaining. Now, these are opponents that are currently ranked in the AP. See, Iowa, no ranked opponents remaining. A great chance for the Hawkeyes to run the table, get into the Big Ten championship game, and potentially have a chance to fight and play their way into the college football playoff.
Third down, and we've got a flag coming in before the snap.
Ball start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's on the center, Charlie Renfree.
I'm not really sure how that's even possible. Well, you get a little hiccup, and sometimes you miscommunicate with your quarterback, and the snap count's not what you thought. And sometimes maybe you're trying to just draw the defensive line off sides a little bit there, trying to get a little edge.
So it's 3rd and 12.
It's that wild defense, nobody with their hand on the ground.
Little Jolie Dunn look, and the pass across the middle to Jacob Hollister is incomplete.
Look at you learning about your old school SEC defensive coordinators.
I hang out with a former Auburn center long enough, and it's bound to rub off on me. 4th and 12.
Jolie was doing work when you were in diapers.
There's already been one blocked punt tonight. It was a crucial play at the end of the first half. Utah State, Brock Carmen blocked it, and it turned into a touchdown. Wood gets it away. Andrew Rodriguez is there to haul it in. So 10:41 left in the fourth quarter. Utah State cruising.
ESPN College Football is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Sandwiches.
Mike Cousins, Cole Kubelik back with you here at Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah. A 44-21 lead for Utah State, where it's been a good night to be a running back. Brian Hill for Wyoming, 24 carries, 176 yards and a score. Devontae Mays for Utah State, 21 carries, $148 and 2 touchdowns. 7 yards a carry, better than 7 yards a carry for both running backs. And it's another carry for Devontae Mays. Trucking his way inside the 40-yard line. Utah State has not taken its foot off the accelerator tonight.
Mike, we've seen Robert Priester come up from the cornerback spot and make a few plays. If you watch the left side of your screen, he's too far upfield, and that allows the cutback from Devontae Mays. No corner out to help with contain. He's able to get to the backside sideline, go north-south, and pick up first down yardage. Nice cutback from Devontae Mays.
A little bit of trickery here. Kennedy Williams wrapped up, but he's got a first down. You know, something that Matt Wells was talking to us about yesterday. He said, we've used more packages than I ever have as a head coach this year, partly because of injury, but partly just to stay fresh on tape for our opponents.
Just a reverse here, trying to keep the defense honest. Look at the speed from DJ May. That's Sam Nickelback. Unreal.
Now Myers goes over the top. Wyatt Houston's got his second touchdown catch of the night. This one from 25 yards out.
Wyatt Houston has tripled his touchdown output on the season tonight. Got a heck of a game. Another run-pass option from Kent Myers. He has been magnificent in the run-pass option game. So effective. Precision work from the junior quarterback.
Brock Warren's extra point is good. Some high-scoring affairs this year for Utah State. 56 versus Fresno. 52 in a win against Boise, and now 51 with still 9:52 to play. Well, we're closing in on start time for College Game Day, built by the Home Depot Independence Mall in Philadelphia. Number 9 Notre Dame, number 21 Temple. It gets going 9 Eastern on ESPN tomorrow. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Last week at James Madison, the alma mater of producer Lee Fitting, we saw Coach Corso in colonial garb last week. Could we see him as Ben Franklin in Philadelphia this week, you think?
Are they going to go Halloween costumes for the entire show? Do you know?
I don't. You know I'm out of the loop on things. May with the return from the goal line across the 20 and out to the 22. First down for Wyoming as they trail by 30 with 9:45 left here in the fourth quarter. The big story this year for Temple, not only that they are undefeated, but the great job done by their defensive coordinator, Phil Snow. This defense, 7 seniors, 3 redshirt juniors, and they give some pretty interesting looks for the opposition.
Well, they get big play, too. Linebacker Tyler Matekovich, 4 sacks, 4 picks on the year, all over the field. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, giving up less than 92 rush yards per game. Going against C.J. Prosise and that powerful Notre Dame offensive line. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm excited about that one. Quentin Nelson, left guard for Notre Dame, one of my favorite players in college football to watch.
Hill gets the look on first down and goes ahead for about 6. You got Temple, a perfect record. Joining them in the group of 5, you have Memphis as well as Toledo. You got head coaches there that are probably next year are going to be looking for some big-time coaching jobs as well. Cole, who's your front runner here right now to be that group of 5 into the New Year's Six Bowls?
Well, it's easy to say Toledo based on what they have ahead. Getting good quarterback play from Philip Ely, but I really like what Memphis and Justin Fuente are doing. Big-time quarterback play for the Tigers there also. I'll have to go Memphis.
Smith from the pocket sings it for Nico Evans, the redshirt freshman from Los Angeles, who makes the catch. And you know right now that Memphis has got to be rooting for Ole Miss all the way, right? That's
absolutely
to highlight their biggest win of the year.
They still have Houston ahead, and they still have Temple ahead, so it's not on cruise control the rest of the way for the Memphis Tigers.
Hill comes off the left side and across midfield. First down for Brian Hill. Cole, you know, they've used that fake jet sweep action all night. We talked about it earlier in the game after this gain of 18. Usually you use that to set up something later in the game, but they've just gone Hill, Hill, Hill.
Well, I think, too, what it does, Mike, it freezes your linebackers. And we've seen these Utah State linebackers false step a few times, and I think a lot of that has been due to that jet sweep, either handing it, because they've done that a few times, Wyoming has, or the fakes, which opens up those backside runs, and they have success with just on the last play.
Smith with a wobbling ball down the middle of the field, incomplete, intended for Hollister, the tight end. Well, Brian Hill was out on that play, but he's having himself a heck of a night. 26 carries for 201 yards. Already tonight, surpassing a host of other players to become the second leading rusher in FBS, only behind LSU's Leonard Fournette. 4th career 200-yard game for Hill. Smith on the run. His high throw is over Nico Evans, one of their running backs. Now 3rd and 10 as the clock stops. 8:06 left here in the ballgame.
This is where a young quarterback doesn't quite understand the speed of the game yet. Nick Smith comes out of that play action, waiting for the route to develop, sees a defender 3 yards away, and feels like he has time to stay in the pocket, let the route close in on the sideline, and then deliver the football. Defenders close in too quickly, and it forces the errant pass.
Last week was just his 2nd game, so his 3rd career game and his 1st career start In for the redshirt senior Cameron Kaufman. Pressure comes from the backside, and his throw is knocked down. Jalen Davis on the cornerback blitz gets pressure and forces Smith into an incompletion.
Well, he's their boundary corner, and they love to bring him on these blitzes when they are to the near side. He has 3 tackles for loss and a sack already on the season. 2 interceptions. He's tied for the team lead there. Very active, very physical player, but Jalen Davis is that corner that this defense, Kevin Clune and company, love to bring on blitzes because he likes to attack the pocket.
Rodriguez makes the catch at his own 7, makes Wingard miss. He's got room across the 15, now out to the 25-yard line, and finally wrapped up by C.J. Jennings.
Turn that into a real positive. You don't often see guys field a punt inside the 10. Nice return.
Devontae Mays, the biggest night perhaps for Utah State. 22 carries, $176, and 2 scores for the JUCO transfer.
This young man has been physical in between the tackles, but shown a really nice ability to stay square and bounce runs outside. He's spun through arm tackles. He's bowled over defenders or at the goal line. I have been impressed with Devontae Mays in this Utah State backfield. I think they have found a feature back, Mike, that they are going to ride the rest of the season.
But certainly not the rest of the night, as Damian Hobbs, the backup quarterback, is into the game, presumably for the rest of the evening. And his 4th throw of the year is complete to Zach Van Leeuwen, the freshman from Provo, Utah.
Looks like Andrew Wingard a little shaken up after the play. Big collision there on that slant route.
The guy that they really like, their team's tackles leader. His dad played at Nebraska when Craig Bohl was an assistant there.
You see contact again, just right to the midsection of Zach Van Leeuwen, but Andrew Wingard, that right shoulder directly into the body of the tight end.
Injured Wyoming safety Andrew Wingard back to his feet on the sidelines, back off the field. And Saturday afternoon college football, we've got lots of great matchups as we go through the final 7.5 minutes of this ball game to talk about. Tony Lindsay, the sophomore from Long Beach, California, over to the right side. There's 4 carries for him coming into this game, and you understand that. Behind Devontae Mays and Lawan Hunt, a great 1-2 punch there. And when we talked to Matt Wells yesterday, you know, their run game was so spread out last year and even slowed down to the point where they had Nick Vigil, the linebacker and former high school running back, taking carries. Lindsay again goes through the middle with good space, down to the 35-yard line. Nicole, he said really the only time he's been here, they've had one true feature back, was Kerwin Williams, who's gone on to the NFL, now with the Arizona practice squad.
Well, it's not just Vigil. To hear him tell us yesterday, too, 6 of their front 7 guys have played extended snaps on both sides of the football, on that defensive front 7. They've lined up at fullback, tight end, running back. He's not afraid to use talent on both sides of the football.
Hobbs under pressure, throws one-on-one down the sideline. Oh, my goodness, what a catch. Jalen Costin Green brings it in under pressure. 34-yard touchdown.
Eddie Yarbrough, 55, delivers the pressure again. He's had a lot of success in that Utah State backfield, but did not get there quickly enough.
New highest score of the year for Utah State. The extra point, they're at 58.
Pressure first from Yarbrough, 55. He'll come in and lay the hit on Hobbs. We'll take a look at this grab. In the corner of the end zone, Jalen Costin Green. rolling tonight in Logan.
And they have spread the ball out to no end. It's now 8 different receivers that have caught a pass, either from Myers or Hobbs. First touchdown pass for Hobbs. May, the linebacker, to the 30. Yeah, not much more than that. Saturday afternoon college football presented by Kay Jewelers and 5 Hour Energy. It's number 3 Clemson, undefeated at 7-0 against NC State. And the Maryland Terps are in Iowa City to take on Kirk Ferentz's number 10 ranked unbeaten Hawkeyes, 7-0 for the first time since 2009. Both games available nationally on ABC or ESPN2 at 3:30 Eastern.
I think this is a newer Clemson team, a little bit more physical, 215 yards rushing per game. Offensive line's playing good ball.
Smith going to the edge. And he's got Jake Malhart, their leading receiver, with Tanner Gentry out. And it's a nice streak on the line there for Clemson. 35 straight wins against unranked opponents going back to 2011. And who else was the one that they lost to but NC State, who they play tomorrow?
There's not a lot of statistics to back it up. Doesn't it just feel like there's a big upset in Raleigh every year? It just feels like somebody has their season go down the drain in that stadium once a season.
Smith under pressure, incomplete to the edge. And Cole, we talked about the college football playoff rankings coming out Tuesday. You've already got your top 4 set up, ready to go, including Clemson.
I like the Clemson Tigers, but I have them at number 2. LSU, the only team in the country that has 2 wins over 2 teams that are currently ranked in the AP Top 25 right now. Clemson has a couple of nice wins of their own. I like Ohio State 3rd. The switch at quarterback, I think, keeps them there. And Baylor has just been lights out. I understand Seth Russell's not there anymore. Going to switch quarterbacks. They have a bye week to deal with it. Corey Coleman, still the best wide receiver in the country. Shock Linwood, still one of the best running backs in the country. And by the way, Baylor number 2 in the country in rushing yards per game. Second best team in the nation. This is a physical Baylor football team. Offensive line gets after you. Defensive line's big, physical, nasty. This is not your mom's Baylor team.
Yeah, but you know what they're 107th in? Strength of schedule.
It's not their fault who they have to play.
But they can decide who they play out of conference.
But I'll tell you what I do like about Baylor, and I'm not going to sit here and debate that they've played a meaningful schedule. They haven't. I understand that. But what have they done with unqualified opponents? They've handled them.
Sure, pounded them into the ground.
They've done exactly what they should have done with their opponents that are not on their level. So I respect
61
Baylor.
points a game this year.
I respect Baylor and Art Briles for that. I think Clemson and Baylor are 2 teams. They're a little bit different than what we expect them to be and what they have been in the past. They have gotten past being a soft team, being a team that's not physical, can't run the ball, and can't win one-on-ones in the trenches. Both of those teams are very capable of doing that now, but they still have the electrifying players like Artavis Scott and Corey Coleman on the outside.
Flag comes in.
Offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's KJ Uluwave, the backup right guard for Utah State. Do you think that you could make a case, though, and I know you might not want to, but for Alabama in over Baylor, considering what they have to do in conference play?
We could absolutely make a case, and the best case that I would make for Alabama would be the eyeball test. Now, I look at the Crimson Tide, and I think that defense, especially the front 7, and their punter, J.K. Scott, are going to keep them in every football game that they play.
That's an interesting take. I don't know how many
Coker's
people predict a punter is keeping a team in the
He's
game.
that good. He is that good, and he flips the field. And when you have a defense that can mash the run with 4 or 5 defenders in the box, and you put them in good spots to not have to be able to play high-risk football and bring extra guys into the box, you're going to win. And Jay Coker's been a bit of a roller coaster, but Derrick Henry's a stud. And I think Derrick Henry I think he's carrying that offense right now because the offensive line's not playing as well as they have in years past.
They give it forward for Hervey as Utah State looks to run the clock here, 4:30 to play. Now, FPI, ESPN's forward-looking measure of how a team is predicted to do, predicts a win for Alabama in every game going forward. Closest game there, of course, being LSU.
See, and I don't think anyone's giving LSU's defense the credit that they deserve. With Tayshawn Bowers at defensive end, Arden Key comes in there, and he can penetrate and disrupt and cause some problems. Kendall Beckwith, one of the best linebackers in the country. I don't think anyone talks about the LSU defense the way that they deserve to be discussed, as a dominant group.
Well, they have only their own teammate to blame, Leonard Fournette, who's the Heisman leader right now.
Jalen Mills at safety comes down and plays like a linebacker, and he's a guy that's just being back inserted to the lineup. He was pre-All-American, All-SEC coming into the season. Jamal Adams is a safety for that team that I love, hard-hitting, physical kid. I just think that the LSU defense in SEC action, now granted it's one less game this year, they actually allow less rushing yards per game than the Alabama defense does in conference play.
Scary to think about. LSU still has Bama coming up on the 7th, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. Well, what do you know? A punt from Utah State. Their first of the night as they lead 58-21. 3:04 left in this one as the Aggies are on their way to 5-3. Thinking about tomorrow, Saturday college football action. We've got game day in Philadelphia for Notre Dame and Temple. How about Stanford and Washington State? We really have not gotten into Christian McCaffrey yet, just how good of a season he's having.
Unbelievable. 43 points per game over their last 6 games, 7.2 yards per play over their last 6 games since they slipped up and lost that opener to Northwestern.
I mean, how much of an anomaly does that seem now to lose to Northwestern and only score 6 points?
McCaffrey is already 300 yards ahead than the leading rusher for Stanford a season ago. That offense is on all cylinders. Kevin Hogan, a veteran QB under center, and they do most of their work under center. They'll go with the big packages, 2 and 3 tight ends, put the D lineman back at fullback. That's one of my favorite offenses in the country to watch operate.
That first down catch made by James Price, the freshman out of Washington. And a run to the edge for Tapscott, or rather Overstreet, beg your pardon, and he keeps his balance out to the 50-yard line. So Christian McCaffrey, 5 straight 100-yard rushing games and leads the nation in all-purpose yards, 260 a game.
He's amazing. He's a do-it-all player. Can return kicks, catch the ball out of the backfield. So elusive. There you see him do a little wildcat, taking snaps in the backfield. Has a chance to surpass Barry Sanders' all-purpose yardage record, which is a little odd because Barry Sanders' son is his backup there at Stanford.
Smith keeps it himself toward the edge. And that's Stanford, Washington State, 10:30 Eastern time on ESPN.
Why do you keep blowing past your Syracuse Orange against Florida State? Every time we put the graphic up and we talk about tomorrow's slate, you just blow right past your Orange and the Seminoles.
You know, I figure there are some games that might be closer.
Dalvin Cook's out. He's got like 85% of Florida State's offense. He's not playing.
You know, Florida State's going to be playing with a vengeance after their 28-game ACC win streak was snapped last week against Georgia Tech. That pass looked like it hit the ground. Going over the middle for Parker, but they say he's got the catch.
It was a nice grab by Parker. Good throw by Nick Smith as well. Shooting a dart over the middle.
So the big game for Florida State really coming up is Clemson next week.
We'll take another look, see if able to get up under this football. defender in the way. Going to be difficult to tell from that angle.
And one thing to note here, too, on replays is that the replay booth does take a look at plays like that, but if it doesn't affect the competitive balance of the game, they will not stop the game to review a play like that. And with our lopsided score here in a minute to play, you understand why play goes on.
Pressure there from number 19, Ian Tongiai.
One of those two-way guys.
Yeah, a big-time two-way guy. He's been utilized a lot at H-back and tight end this season. Doesn't have any catches, but he blocks a lot. And speaking to Kevin Clune yesterday, the defensive coordinator, about asked him how he felt about it, and he said, I tell you this, they're not going to get him. Not going to get him full time. And Coach Matt Wells telling us he's a young man that could go 20 and 20, maybe 20 and 30 snaps on each side of the football.
Going end zone, there's a flag on the play. Malhart was mauled as he went down the sideline by B.J. Hayes. That's quite a size mismatch there. 6'6" versus 5'9".
Pass interference, defense number 22, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, coming up after this one wraps up, we'll have baseball tonight presented by Chevrolet. Carl Ravitch, Tim Kirchin, Kurt Schilling, and Jessica Mendoza. An electric atmosphere tonight at Citi Field. Mets are winners 9-3 to make it a 2-1 advantage now for Kansas City in the World Series. Smith looking for a block ahead inside the 10-yard line. How about that? You see what they did at Citi Field tonight for the game? They added extra seating, temporary seating kind of on the field, and then put a little bit of plexiglass up in front of it.
Give it that hockey feel?
I guess so. Cold enough probably in Flushing, Queens. Right on the bay there. Now under 30 seconds left in this one. Smith looking for the fade route back in the end zone. And that is a touchdown. Jake Malhart makes the catch, utilizing his height at 6'6" for his second grab in the end zone tonight.
7th touchdown on the season for Malhart. And I like the throw from Nick Smith. Kind of a back shoulder, not really a fade here because he's throwing it on the line, but he understands it's the coverage that they want. You think about how many reps could Nick Smith and Malhart could have had in practice? Not very many, but to sort of have that nonverbal communication there, understanding of where the football needs to be, it's a nice play.
Staff told us that Smith in practice was getting about 33% of the reps as the backup QB. Extra point. No good. So Utah State with a win today. Looking good. They'll be 5-3, 4-1 in Mountain West play. And then after this, it's New Mexico, Air Force, Nevada, and BYU. Air Force at 4-3. Never an easy team to prepare for with Troy Calhoun's triple option.
I think that's what sticks out there is you get sort of an air raid look with New Mexico. Then you go to that triple option. Then you have to go to that pistol option with Nevada, and then back and play BYU. A little bit more of a pro-style offense, which they'll still do some pistol and zone read. But that really is what sticks out to me, other than the next two games being on the road for this Utah State Aggie football team. Contrast in styles, different styles that they're going to have to face and prepare for week in and week out.
So 16 seconds left as Utah State keeps on winning at home. Last loss more than 2 years ago against Boise State, here at what was then Romney Stadium and now Maverick Stadium. Williams from the goal line jets his way to the 24. So Cole here as we go into the waning moments of this game. Your takeaways on both sides.
Brian Hill is a stud. Just an absolute baller at running back. He's going to have a chance to get single-season records from running back Ryan Christopherson, who did it in '94, 1,455 rush yards and 121 per game. He's got a shot at both of those, but they just have to build this offense around a young quarterback. Nick Smith just doesn't understand how to get him in and out of different plays and different looks. And for Utah State, I think they found their back. I don't think there's any secret now that Devontae Mays will be your go-to back. You ride him the rest of this season. Kent Myers continues to develop, and Chucky Keaton's dressed out tonight. He's on the field. He's a guy that has 5 single-season records, 2 career records, all-time school records. And he's a guy that could get back into the mix at quarterback for this team down the stretch.
They can see him back at New Mexico or Air Force. So our final score is 58-27 in favor of Utah State. For Cole Kubelik, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Mike Cousins. Coming up next here on ESPN2, Baseball Tonight, presented by Chevrolet. And with that, we say so long, good night from the Beehive State.